I have different levels of excitement whenever I get a request to review something, okay? Speaker and amps, whoa, high excitement level. DACs, meh excitement level. Cables and tweaks are my worst nightmare. The reason is whenever I talk about tweaks, the comment section can get really bloody, especially cables. I try to avoid it like the plague. Now, I know I should do more cable videos, especially since I actually do have a lot of stories to tell. So a while ago, I got an email from Gingko Audio. I hope that's how you pronounce it. They've been in business for over 20 years, and although they have many different kind of products, they reached out to me for their vibration control products. Now, the first thing that went through my head was, oh, here we go again, a controversial topic like cables. I hate talking about stuff like that because usually tweaks require me to go into critical listening to hear any differences. These days, I avoid accepting products for review that require I go into deep meditation hoping to pick out the little differences. I much prefer gear that allows me to just sit back and enjoy the music. So you can imagine my excitement level when I was asked to review vibration control products. My excitement level was like -5. So I told Gingko, look, I'm not going to make a whole video on it and then have people throw tomatoes at me, because that is usually what happens when I cover a controversial topic. I'll make a quick mention of it somewhere in a video, so at least people who are looking for sound treatment products will discover your products by me quickly mentioning it. Now, although I don't care about vibration control tweaks, I do have a lot of them at my home, but I rarely use them. Usually I would just put them in my system and that's it. I don't A/B test to hear the differences. I just don't have that kind of energy and interest. So why am I making a dedicated video today instead of a 30-second mention of the product in another video? 15 seconds after installing the isolation product in my system, I was like, what the hell? Oh, I have an interesting story to tell. Their product surprised me to the point it converted me from I don't care to every audiophile in the neighborhood should pay attention to this. For those of you attending the November 2022 Capital Audio Fest, go visit them if you're curious. Now, I'll leave the info in the comment section. So ladies and gentlemen, audiophiles, stink oil salesmen, and audiophiles who value measurements, today let me share with you my experience with the Gingko audio product. I am so going to get eggs on my face. Now, when we talk about cables, the skeptics would always ask for proof by measurements. Now, sadly with cables, I got nothing to back me up. Now, when it comes to Gingko products, they have uploaded videos demonstrating their products by measurements. So, before you conclude this is all snake oil, go check out their website, their video, their measurements, and unlike cable, yeah, there are measurable differences. Yes, I know. Now, just because there are measurable differences, it does not automatically mean we can hear a difference. Okay, so I will start by telling you with the Gingko products, okay, I get more clarity out of my system and the details are better separated. Done. End of video. See you next week. The rest of the video will be me just telling stories. Now, let me start with the story of Mr. Quad. You see, I'm sneaky like this. The hard to tell difference products, I will not even listen to them and I'll just throw it to my audio buddies so they do the hard work of breaking down the differences and then they report back to me. For example, I got a bunch of cables in for review a while ago. My audio buddies would listen to them and then they'll list out all the differences on a piece of paper. Here, let me share a photo of what I mean. Anyways, usually Mr. Quad is quick to evaluate gear. Within a day or two, he will give me a quick update. This time, however, with the Gingko products, I heard nothing from him for weeks. His excitement level was like 0, like mine. Now, eventually, I knew I should give Gingko an update. I asked Mr. Quad, come on, please just give it a try. Then the next day, I got an email. Here, let me put his message on screen. In the email, as I said, he did not bother trying it for weeks, but the first note he heard after installing the Gingko product, he was surprised. It clearly made a difference for the better. The last time I spoke to Mr. Quad about this, he told me after the review, he would buy it. Now, some of you might be thinking, yeah, maybe it's placebo, you know, even though unlike cables, there are measurements to back it up. Okay, so Mr. Quad, first he tried it on the DAC and he heard a difference. He then tried it on his stand mount speaker and he heard a bigger difference. So if it were a placebo, the expectation would be the next gear he tried it on, he should hear a difference, right? Well, when he put it on his Quad 2905 electrostatic speakers, he heard no difference. Now, I mentioned this to Gingko and they checked the weight of the speakers and then they told me, well, the Gingko product I had was not made for the weight of the 2905 speaker, so it is normal Mr. Quad did not hear any differences. Now, Gingko did offer to send me a version that would work with the 2905 speakers, but I did not want to until I hear it in my system. Because of his excitement, Mr. Quad eventually also brought it over to his friend's place, Mr. Sonus Faber, and he was also able to hear a difference. Now, next I landed to Mr. Vintage. Now, Mr. Vintage, out of all my audio buddies, is someone that uses tweaks all the time. Now, those who follow me know he used to own many systems the price of a house. At that time, he bought a lot of tweaks like these, so he has a lot of expensive tweaks left over from his younger years. Now, these days, he plays with budget gear instead, and I have to admit, it's funny to see sometimes he will have these like $200 preamp, and on top of it, a $500 like a block to stabilize it. His tweaks usually are more expensive than his system. Now, the tweaks he used are probably from 20 years ago, and he thought the modern Gingko way of handling vibration control is quite interesting. For him, his own sound treatment products are divided into two major categories. One uses weight, meaning you stabilize your system by putting something heavy on it, while the other isolate vibration by keeping the point of contact as small as possible, like spikes. Now, the Gingko is different where it uses bamboo to distribute the weight and wool, I think it's wool, to isolate. And Mr. Vintage found the Gingko products highly effective, and he can hear more details even in his Vintage system. So despite what Mr. Quad and Mr. Vintage told me, I still was not expecting much because I had not listened to it in my system yet. And from my past experience, tweaks usually only make a very, very small difference. Gingko products, come on, a few pieces of wood. It's not like they reinvented the wheel. So my excitement level was still -5. You're probably wondering if it is because I don't believe my audio buddies, so that is why I still did not care. It's not that. It's a bit like this, okay? Before the Toronto Audio Fest, I was telling Mr. Kanta, man, the Leonidas Extreme open baffle speakers with its crazy bass is so fun to listen to. Even though I would remind him daily, it was still enough to prepare him for the shock when he first heard it at the audio show. He told me the other day he did not believe me, despite him knowing I am not someone who would lie to him about it. I knew my two audio buddies had the hearing of Superman, and they could enter critical listening mode easily and pick up all the changes in their system. Me, I can do it, but I know I have to concentrate. As far as I am concerned, anything that needs me to concentrate to hear a difference is not worth it. Especially these Gingko products are a few $100s. However, by chance, recently, I've been spending a lot of time voicing a few of my upcoming prototype Galion speakers. So I was in this phase where I was listening critically. It is interesting to hear a big difference between silk dome, ring radiator, and AMT tweeters. Now, my issue with AMT tweeters, as I told the designer, is, although great overall, but when it comes to micro detail, I don't hear it as effortlessly as with silk dome and ring radiator tweeters. So when I started using the Gingko products on the DAC, First few seconds of putting it in my system, I had the same reaction as Mr. Quad. You're kidding me, right? The system sounded clearer. Okay, maybe a placebo. Then I put the products underneath the speakers, and that is where I'm sure I heard a big difference. You see, this prototype cabinet, the speaker, okay, given it's a prototype, the cabinet does not have the best bracing. I think the vibration from the bass is affecting what I can hear from the tweeter. So when I put the feet in, no, I was expecting the bass to be tighter, just like any other isolation products. Nope, I heard the detail from the tweeter clearer. It is as if the cabinet is no longer vibrating and it is no longer interfering with the upper treble, so there's better clarity. I can hear the micro details better, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was not expecting that. I was expecting the bass to be tighter, as I said. Now, I now think all stand mount speakers should come with some kind of vibration control product by default. What the hell? In the past, I've bought similar stuff from Amazon, okay, mostly to prevent scratches, and I don't remember having this much of a big reaction when I put them in my system. Either that, or it's because I happen to be in this critical listening phase. My mindset was different when I tested the Gingko products. Who knows? Here's the thing. It does not matter if I can hear a difference or not. What is important is if you can. Now, they do have a trial period. I think at the final stage of your system setup, cables and tweaks are something worth trying. Now, I would not recommend it to be the first thing you introduce into your system, but once you have dialed in the main components, I think it is then worth trying. Now, over the years, I've been told over and over again by many audiophiles, isolation products work. Although I never rejected the idea, I never cared about it. However, this experience changed my perception of this thing about isolation products. If one day when I retire and no longer need to swap gear on a daily basis, I would definitely consider using them in my final system. With that, see you next time.